Hello. As time is getting closer to picking up your puppy, I just wanted to provide this video to you for some information and things that I like to share with clients before puppies go home. Because once you come to my home, sometimes it's hard to concentrate beyond your cute little puppy. So the first thing that I will have you do is sign your receipt for me. This is my copy. There's a copy in your own paperwork of the same thing that's signed by me. It just goes over your invoice and what you've paid for. The next thing I'll do is, this is a scanner that will scan the microchip, and I will show you the puppy has the microchip in between their shoulder blades. And then everybody will receive a go home bag. And so this is a specific bag for a puppy going home today. Excuse me. But yours will be very similar, if not exactly the same. So the first thing that's in there is your information packet. And there are lots of things in here, and I'll go through each of them now so that you can understand what's in here. The only difference is the extra paperwork, and I'll talk about that at the end. So the first thing that you will notice is your receipt. This is your copy of the same thing that you sign that I get to keep. The next thing in there is a coupon for you if you'd like to return to get another puppy. I do offer a $200 discount to returning clients. And then there will be a checklist of your next things that you need to make sure to do. Go to the vet, get the distemper shots that your puppy needs, rabies shots, and then have them spayed or neutered by this specific date. The next paper is their vet checkup. And so this little paper that's taped to it is the microchip numbers that is specific to your puppy, which is located right here. Up above is all the vital information of birth date, and these are their developmental markers. This is when they receive their shots and when their next shots are due. A reminder that Moses Lake, Washington is not a heartworm area, and so your puppies have not received any heartworm care, so make sure to talk to your vet about that. These are the dates that they received dewormer, and then the information that the vet gives, clean bill of health and puppy weight and things like that, and then signed by the vet. So you want to take this paper to your vet appointment so that your vet can get all the information they need from it. I do offer a puppy birth certificate for you that's filled out by me. And then you will receive information about nomographs. And so I have talked to some of my clients about this, but not all of you. So a nomograph is a titer test that I do on each of my moms at least once a year, and it's good for a full year for them. And then they send me this detailed report about what mom's immunity is like, and then they do 2-week atomic half-lives of their immunity, and that lets me know exactly when puppies should be vaccinated. And so these specific puppies, it says, should be vaccinated at 7 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks, and then they should receive a titer test to make sure that they are covered. Sometimes people do just kind of a blanket, every puppy gets a shot at a certain week, but we don't do that because we want to know exactly when that window of immunity is open. Puppies do get passive immunity from their moms through breast milk, and most of that comes from the colostrum that they receive within the first 24 hours of life. After that, the gut closes, and any immunity that they get after that is not effective. And so knowing exactly how much immunity mom passes on to puppies is essential to know exactly when that window is open. That's one of the reasons that people that don't do nomographs do, just every puppy gets a certain time, and that's why they do 3 shots usually, to make sure that, somewhere in there they get the open window of when that passive immunity lowers. So here is a titer submission form that you can send a little vial of serum. You can have your vet withdraw blood from your puppy, spin it down to serum, and then you can send that into the CABIDS lab at the University of Wisconsin CABIDS lab, and they can run a titer test for you. This is optional. You don't have to do it, but for your own peace of mind, if you want to. I have filled out most of it. The orange parts are the places that you will have to fill out and then send this in with a check. I believe at 2025 it is a $50 titer test, which is an amazing price because most titers you do through your vet cost, you know, $180 to $250 is what I've seen from my vets. And then here's all the instructions for how to do that with the paperwork that comes. I will include a copy of your specific contract that you have signed and I have signed, and so you have a copy of that, and so you can go over that again. And then also in everybody's paperwork you get information about Trupanion. I will have texted you the Trupanion offer that you can activate within 24 hours of picking up your puppy. So that's 24 hours before or after, and that's the only open window to activate that. I do have clients that say, you know, I already have pet insurance and we're going to add our pet to that. Sometimes companies have like a 2-week waiting period, and so if you activate this, there's no waiting period at all. Your puppy is automatically covered. So even if you're going to have a family policy, it's a great idea to have that free coverage from Trupanion to cover any kind of gaps. The next is New Pet Plus, and that's just information of the vitamins that I feed my dogs and puppies here, and I will send a sample home of the specific vitamins for you as well. The next paper is body handling practices that we do here. This is one thing that I do not post online because it's specific to my own program and things that I do here with puppies. These are the steps that we do daily with our puppies to get puppies used to handling. And I always tell my clients, if I do all of this work here and you continue nothing at home, your puppy will act as they have never been handled before. And so they will stop being used to people putting their fingers in mouths and looking at their teeth, and they will stop being used to people touching them on their toes and all sorts of things. So these are all of the practices that we do on a daily basis to keep puppies used to being handled, which is helpful for your daily grooming with your puppy, which is helpful for your vet when they go see the vet. And you know, vets touch everywhere, and so puppies get used to that. And also for your groomer, which are all three things that they will have commonly done on the daily basis with your grooming, and then however frequently you groom your puppies, they will be used to that. The next few items are things that I provide as a service to you. Is also, this is, I call it the hot dog paper. Basically, it explains the different heat properties that different proteins have. And so if you have a dog that's always shivering or is always panting, even in a room control with controlled temperature, the way that we live in our homes, if your dog is always shivering, it might be perhaps that their metabolism needs some help. And so you can control that by what protein you feed. Some of them are warming, some of them are neutral, and some of them are cooling. And so if you find your dog needs help, I had one dog that was constantly laying on the ground belly down and just always warm, and so she would appreciate more of the cooling protein to help maintain her body that way. This is a household medications that are approved to be used for dogs. All of this information is not to substitute what you would do going to your vet. So obviously if your pet is sick, you want to take your dog to the vet. But if it's just, my dog has diarrhea today, no reason, they didn't eat anything bad, they just have diarrhea, then you can look at some of these things that are common. But also make sure to consult with your vet. Some of the other things that I send home are, let's see. One of the most important papers, this is online, so this is a printed copy of it for my client. Tiny puppies. If your puppy's less than 3 pounds, a lot of times they have a hard time maintaining their blood sugar. And so my puppies have food and water at all times, which does not help in potty training around the clock. So a lot of times bigger breeds are ready to have food and water taken up after 4 p.m. These puppies would not do well. They should have food and water ready at all times because of this ability. They have smaller stomachs. They can only digest so much food at one time, and they need to be able to keep that blood sugar up. So these are instructions of, you know, what you should know about helping to keep your puppy up, their blood sugar at a constant level, to help them if you do notice your puppy's lethargic or woozy or sleeping a lot. It could be low blood sugar, and you need to talk to your vet about that because it can be life-threatening very, very quickly. The next sets of papers are the ones that I also have online. Your puppy checklist of all of the things that you should have on hand before your puppy comes home. And then these are two that basically talk about, you know, crate training and feeding and the things that your puppies are used to, the foods and treats, the things that I recommend. And I don't ever recommend any rawhide products because of how they are manufactured and what they do to your puppy on the inside. The next is puppy socialization, and this just basically talks about why we do puppy socialization, and it's important for you to continue what we start here. You know, we have introduced puppies to all sorts of floor textures and rugs on the floors, hardwood, tile, linoleum, all sorts of floor surfaces, and being outside on the pavement, on the rocks, on the grass, you know, just several different places. But if you don't continue to expose your dogs to new places, new sounds, new people, you know, people with beards, wearing high heels, if you don't continue to do those kinds of things, they'll get used to their own tiny little environment, and then they'll freak out when you go places or people come to your home that are out of the ordinary. So this is also a list that's a companion to it of different ideas of things that you can do within the first few months with your puppy to expose them to different sounds and different people, different places, all sorts of things. So all of those papers will be in your go home packet, unless you didn't opt to have the printed versions of the ones that are online. So that would be the only difference. So some of the things that will be in your go home bag, I always provide a couple potty pads for your travel home, whether you are taking your puppy on an airplane or a flight nanny is, or you are traveling in a car to go home. Puppies are not fully vaccinated when they leave me. They have a start with their vaccination, so that means they are not immune to distemper, parvo, some of those disastrous dog diseases. And so I will use a potty pad, and I will open it up and put it in the footwell of my car and put puppies on there to use the bathroom there. I do not advise you to take them to a park or into your neighbor's yard, or to, you know, if you live in an apartment complex, to take them to the pet area right away until they're fully vaccinated, because there's so many people that do not vaccinate pets or wild animals. You know, even a bird flying over can deposit Giardia there, and once they have that, then it's a fight. So I send home a toy. This one is squeaky and crinkly that puppies love. I also send home a flea comb, not for fleas, but this is what we use to help clean the little hairs. Sometimes as puppies are teething, especially, their eyes water because of the pain, just like with our eyes are located in our bodies next to our sinuses, and so it pinches, closes the nostrils, and it also makes the eyes water. And so if you have the patience and the ability to practice with your puppy, so they are used to, I was going to say with the grooming, they are used to me doing grooming and my daughter, and so if they freak out when you start doing it, just keep persisting. If you're using the flea comb next to their eye, and what we do is, you know, we come right at the eye this way, and then we just scoop out. And be careful, as they're a puppy, you can use this really close comb, but as they get older, use the ones that are farther apart, because sometimes their whiskers will get caught in here and it will pluck out their whiskers. So be super careful, and don't be yanking, and don't go at their eyes. Their eyes are very sensitive because of how they're positioned on their skulls. So be very careful how you approach their eyes, and don't just kind of willy-nilly come at it, because you can create sores, ulcers that can make them lose their eyes if you're not careful. If you scratch it and don't get vet care, that could be very serious very fast. Collapsible bowl so that your puppy can eat or drink on the way home, or you can use this. It comes with a little carabiner. You can clip it, you know, to your stroller, your pants, whatever, your leash, and have that with you as you go out on walks with your puppy. a blanket, and I do not rub this on moms. I do not rub it on siblings because I don't feel that it's beneficial for your dog to smell where they used to be and have that smell and wonder where everybody is then. And what I do, I put this online as well, but if you haven't read that, I suggest that clients will wear a t-shirt to sleep in for several nights before their puppy comes home, up to a week if you're willing. And then once your puppy comes home, have that t-shirt with your smell on it be in your puppy's sleeping area. If your puppy takes a nap, they fall asleep, you know, on the floor somewhere or in their puppy safe area or in their crate, stick that t-shirt in with them, because who they sleep with is who they bond with. And so if they are smelling your scent as they're sleeping, whether they're napping or if they're sleeping with you in your bed, however you determine to, you know, sleep train your puppies in your own home, as they sleep and they smell your scent, they will bond with you faster. And so that is one reason that I do not rub this on mom and their siblings. I send home also a little pet toothbrush. It's the finger toothbrush they are used to at my home. And we just stick your finger in their mouth and rub this around. Their puppy teeth are teensy tiny little needles, and even their molars are pretty tiny. And so they don't need tons and tons of scrubbing to get grime and stuff off. But doing this as a puppy will help aid you when they are older and used to having something stuck in their mouth to scrub their teeth. So if you continue with this, then their oral health will be better. And it, you know, Shih Tzu, because they are brachycephalic, have a shorter muzzle, which compacts all of their teeth. And so it is not uncommon for the brachycephalic breeds to have terrible teeth. But if you will do this with your puppy and your adult dog, then you will extend the life of their teeth and help them keep their teeth longer, so that you don't have the bills to do dentals at your vet, which become very expensive very fast. Then I have in the bag 2 little vacuum sealed packets of puppy, and so there's 3 cups in each, which should last you at least a week. Puppies, when they go home, sometimes they are nervous and they don't eat well for the first day or 2. Sometimes puppies adapt well and transfer very easily and will eat normally. Both extremes are normal, so don't be worried if your puppy doesn't continue to eat, you know, 3/4 to a cup of food a day. That is totally normal, and each puppy is different. Some eat more, some eat less, and so kind of the gauge for me is up to 3/4 of a cup, but I also have, you know, at least a cup in the bowl for them to eat, and then you can kind of see by the end of the day how much they eat from there on out. I change out bowls every day. My puppies are used to drinking out of a water bottle, and they can lap as well. So if you want your dog to drink out of a bowl, I suggest using stainless steel for their food and for their water, just because of the bacteria that grows on them, especially plastic bowls that get scrapes, the micro scrapes inside. The bacteria grows in there really quickly, and even in stoneware, the little cracks that get in there, bacteria hides inside there, even if you send it through the dishwasher. So that's one of the reasons we suggest doing stainless steel. Some of the last things I have in here, here's your sample of the new vet vitamins. They are in tablet form, so it's just a powdery tablet. For puppies, I usually give them 1/4 a day, and so I just break it in half, and each of those halves into half, and then I just crumble it up and put it on their dry kibble, and they just eat it off of the kibble. I have a couple treats. They are used to chewing on these. They are not real big chewers by any means. You know, they're not gonna sit down and eat one of these Minties in one sitting, and so they just use them for teething at this point, but also monitor, because they're so young, you know, if they're getting big huge hunks in their mouth, they can choke on them. So be careful about not giving them to your puppies if they are not being supervised. So I don't just, you know, walk away and leave it in there overnight, or if I'm not going to be home. These are some Jinx treats. They are little teeny tiny stars. These are the banana and beef flavor, I believe. Anyway, it's written on there, little teeny stars. They're soft enough that you could break them into pieces. I usually use them for train treats. Shih Tzu at this age are not really great treat takers. You know, they're not going to do something for a treat. A lot of times if you have, you know, a softer canned food or something like that, they would more readily lick that off of your finger than they would to take a treat. But about around 10 weeks, they start becoming more proficient at taking a treat. And so as you're working with them and doing your training with them, just keep that in mind. Two of the last things I have in there is a sample of the shampoo that I use for my puppies. I have used Mink Sheen by Touch of Mink for almost 12 years on my dogs and puppies, and so I really appreciate the smell lasts forever. You know, one of the things that everybody hates is a stinky dog. The smell lasts forever. It also helps in the summertime to repel biting flies, fleas, ticks, those kinds of things, which is something that I appreciate because of the oils that are in there. And then the last thing in here, I will put this on your puppy before they go home. This is a pheromone collar, which is embedded with the pheromones that the mother secretes when she is nursing the puppy. So it's a calming effect. You are welcome to keep this on your puppy. It's not a flea collar. It's not going to keep fleas away from, but it is heat activated. So when it's on your puppy, it secretes that pheromone that smells like what mom smells like when she's nursing them. And so it does help to calm them during the transition period. It will last up to a month. And it can be on your puppy while they're getting a bath. They can, you know, wear it all the time, or you can take it off of them. It doesn't matter to me. It just, I have noticed a bigger difference when puppies go home. They transition to their new homes a little bit more easily when they have a pheromone collar that helps, you know, that calming. Because when puppies go home, it is kind of a traumatic time. They leave here, you know, they've been exposed to our family and our friends and neighborhood kids that come in and play with them, but they have not been in your home with the different smells and different people and different activities and probably different pets. And so, you know, having something that will help transition them is beneficial for them. So you decide whether you want to keep it on them or not. I don't suggest, if you have your puppy sleeping in a crate, that you have any collars on them, especially if you have a collar that has a tag. I suggest taking it off because puppies can strangulate if that little tag gets caught in one of those slats in the side of the crate, whether you have a plastic crate or metal crate. So those things can get stuck, so just beware. If you have any questions, you are free to call me or text me at any time. I love, love, love to know how your puppy transitions. If you have any questions, concerns, anything to celebrate, puppies sleep well, they're doing well, they're growing well, vet reports are great, any of those things, feel free to contact me and let me know. I don't require that you do, but I'd love to know how my puppies are doing. All right, I'm looking forward to the time that you get to pick up your puppy, and I will see you later.